If you aren't paying attention to your power bill, then you'll just stick with a supplier who's charging you unnecessarily large amounts. And unfortunately, suppliers are prone to exploit their loyal customers who aren't looking around for alternatives by charging them increasingly large amounts. At the very start of the review, we conducted interviews with 7,000 households to find out what they were paying, what they thought about what they were paying, whether they'd switched, how difficult they thought it was to switch. And that was a real eye-opener for us, because it turned out that the amounts they were paying were very divergent, that they were very worried about switching, and that as a result they were paying quite different amounts. And we also discovered that the group which was paying a very large amount, consisted disproportionately of customers who were on low incomes, were not very well educated, didn't have a computer and things of that kind. And so that led us to realize that there were problems with the market, and that one of the problems was associated with lack of engagement. Since the investigation was concluded, the government has applied two kinds of policies. One of them is to impose price caps, and the other is to try and take measures to improve engagement. So from the start of 2019, a price cap will be imposed upon all default tariffs, that is tariffs in the category of high tariffs, and that should have the consequence of bringing those tariffs down for the customers that are on them. At the same time, the regulator is adopting a series of measures which it is hoped over time will encourage engagement in the market, and so that may mean that in years to come the price cap may be unnecessary because customers will be active enough in the market to make it unnecessary. In terms of advice for the New Zealand review, I imagine that they will follow some of the lines of inquiry that have been done both in Australia and the United Kingdom, and that there may be some focus upon the prices paid by retail customers. They may or they may not find them to be excessive and discriminatory, and if they do so, they will then be confronted with the policy questions that have arisen in those other two countries. That is to say, to decide whether to intervene directly on the supply side of the market by setting price caps, or alternatively to focus their interventions on the demand side of the market by encouraging engagement. Or there may be some other way forward that we don't yet know. I don't think there has to be a lot of switching for a market to be healthily competitive. And the reason is that electricity supplied by different suppliers is exactly the same product. It's not like toothpaste, where the product has different taste, and so you might change your taste and choose another brand. With electricity, that makes no sense. On the other hand, if you find that your supplier is charging you too much, in other words, if the market isn't disciplining your supplier to charge at a competitive amount, then you do have to switch. One of the major things that's going to happen is that the demand for electricity is going to go up hugely as a result of the conversion of passenger transport and goods transport from petrol to cars. And that's going to require a great deal more investment. It's going to require more generation, and that's going to be a very big factor. A second consequence, which is associated with smart metering, is that we're going to be able to do a lot more complicated things to control our electricity usage, and there'll be things like time of day pricing which will encourage us to do so. So I think the importance of electricity in the New Zealand economy is going to grow and grow.